Hi, my name's Sian James and I'm speaking for Life the Basic Manual. In this clip I'm going to look for about 10 minutes at the topic of workplace bullying. This is fresh in my mind this morning, having had a long conversation with a colleague with whom I worked for a long time and whose dedication and motivation for his task of working with some of the most marginalised and desperate people I have such a great respect for. He's actually leaving his current place of work because he's had a long period of workplace bullying following a change of regime and a reorganisation in the working schedules. This is a really common theme. So if you're watching this clip because you're experiencing workplace bullying and you have that isolated, alienated feeling that comes from thinking that you're alone in this, please don't. You're not. Millions of people report being bullied in their workplace. Estimates vary. Some go to 70%, some down to 30%. Probably a truer figure of people who experience workplace bullying at some point in their working lives is around 40%. So the likelihood is you may experience workplace bullying or one of your colleagues may. It makes sense to try and think it through before it happens, but if you're in the middle of it happening and you're not sure what to do next, then this clip is for you. As for a definition of what actually represents bullying, that's much harder to do. It's such a broad spectrum of behaviours, and different cultures, different countries have different definitions of it. So I'm going to sidestep that, and I would stick simply with workplace bullying as being an actions of another person that undermine, demean or demoralise you in the carrying out the tasks that you're paid to undertake. Many organisations now, in fact most, have workplace bullying policies. I worked in a large organisation on the National Health Service that has some quite bespoke pieces of work on this topic, and yet the reported incidence of workplace bullying continues to rise and actually seems to have picked up pace as how we work has changed. People work with less contractual rights than before often. Many organisations are in the process of reorganisation in pursuit of greater productivity, and the actual physical locations in which we work have also changed. These days, many of us work in working environments that require us to be physically present in an office that we share with others. 50, 100 years ago, far more of our forebears would have worked in mechanised industries, in factories, which had a much greater physical separation between the presence of the boss and the workers. All of the figures on workplace bullying show that the person who is most likely to be doing the bullying is in an asymmetrical power relationship with the person or group of people that they're bullying, i.e. the boss. So these days, in our large open plan offices, sometimes forced through the hideous phenomena of hot desking, and if anybody ever watches this clip who has control over other working people's environment, I'd like to suggest that you just knock hot desking on the head right now. We're territorial animals, we're mammals. We need space for ourselves to be able to be comfortable, even if that's just a place to hang the cup that says you don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps, or put the funny picture of the kids somewhere on a bit of wall. We need space. I digress. So workplace bullying is ubiquitous, it's common, it comes in many forms. Those forms can vary as widely from shouting in someone's face, making derogatory remarks about their work, to things that are much more subtle, like not recognising their contribution to a team, like freezing them out. The phrase we use in the UK is sending them to Coventry. It may be bullying to their face, or it may be bullying behind their back, discussing, gossiping about them, getting groups of people to exclude them. All of those things represent bullying, and there are many other varieties of it. So the first thing I would suggest to you, if you feel you are the victim of workplace bullying, is Get on the solid ground of being very alert to what is actually happening. Keep a diary. Keep a daily diary of your working life in which you record any incidences of what you consider to be bullying. Make sure that this diary is legible, that you can share it with another as you may need to later in the process, and that it's dated. This is your dossier of evidence going forward about what is actually happening to you. I'd like you to keep this diary for at least a month, and I would suggest that during that month you find a third person outside of your situation that you can discuss this with and get the benefits of another's feedback. Also during this month, I would suggest that you read your contract of employment, your organisation's policies on workplace bullying, and you begin to look around within the hierarchy of your organisation to see who deals with grievance and with interpersonal problems. That might be an HR department, it might be, in your case, if you're unionised, a union rep, it might be your boss's boss, or if your bullying is sideways in the sense that it's from a colleague who's on the same level in the hierarchy as you, it might be your actual boss. So keep a diary, talk to a third person outside of the situation, and begin researching the law, your contract of employment, your organisational policies around workplace bullying, and start to have a look at the actual organisation you're within and what processes it has identified for dealing with this kind of difficulty. At the end of the first month, I want to suggest to you, you continue to keep your diary. That was kind of a trick. I think you should keep the diary throughout the period of time that you're dealing with this issue. I know it's a difficult thing to do when you're tired and at the end of the day, but it really is what makes three-dimensional your presented experience of what's happening to you. I'd also like you to check your preconceptions, your notions of entitlement, and anything that you may have imported into this situation from your previous experience of bullying, perhaps in your family or in your schooling. You want to make sure that you're on absolutely solid ground moving forward. People very commonly complain about unreasonable workloads, and many people face unreasonable workloads. But it may be that your organisation feels very differently about that to you. So just make sure that you can take an in-depth look at what it is that you're bringing to the situation that you're in. I'd also like to make it absolutely clear that this clip is on the topic of workplace bullying. If you feel at any point in your working life that you're subject to actual physical threat, I suggest you leave that environment and you get to a place of safety and you make your next decision from that place of safety. Harassment and sexual harassment are equally ubiquitous, present in all too many workplaces, but they require a different, more immediate and more proactive strategy. We will be dealing with those topics as we post more material. But for the subject of workplace bullying, I hope that by now you've thought it through, you've kept your diary, you've talked to a third person outside the situation that you trust, you've identified who you can go to within the organisation. So your next step is to go to that person, ask for one-to-one time, preferably in a diary, preferably scheduled. Take your diary of events with you. Make sure that you speak as calmly and reasonably, but also from the heart, about the impact of the bullying on your life and your working life. A very common response to an accusation of bullying is to try and cover it up. By and large, organisations do not reward whistleblowers. One of the reasons that workplace bullying is such a prevalent phenomenon that's actually on the rise is because people find it inherently difficult to deal with interpersonal conflict. So you may need to be assertive at this point, and you may need to be your own advocate. If there's somebody else you can invite into that process, whether that's your union representative or it's another colleague that you feel is trustworthy in the situation, I invite you to do so. So meet with someone that you feel can help you take this forward. Identify at the end of that meeting what further action they intend to take. Try and make sure that both of you are clear on that. A very usual response, and something I would certainly have done as a manager if it was two colleagues on the same team, is I would have arranged a three-way meeting in which I or another person was mediating that relationship between the two. I think it's important to acknowledge that most of the research around workplace bullying says that what goes before explicit bullying are small acts of incivility, of rudeness, of hostility that aren't checked in time. The cost of workplace bullying to all industrialised countries is enormous. The ACAS estimates, I think it's 17 billion lost off our GDP yearly as a result of workplace bullying. So if you notice your organisation is dragging its feet in dealing with this topic when you bring it to their attention, maybe it's worth reminding them that their own effectiveness and productivity is partly based on their response to this topic. The psychological, emotional and physical effects of workplace bullying can be absolutely devastating. People commonly report disturbed sleep, a sense of hypervigilance, alertness to threats, loss of focus and concentration, loss of productivity as a result of loss of confidence in their work. So just hoping that it's going to go away really, I have to say, has never been very effective in my experience. My experience of a manager that tried to bully me was that all the time I tried to placate them or just comply, encourage them. For me, it was about grasping the interpersonal ground of dealing with them adult to adult, not victim to persecutor, not child to adult, but asking for their respect at the same time as making it clear I was prepared to offer my respect. Now, if the person that you're dealing with seems incapable or unwilling to do that, you're going to need to follow a formal process, and your organisation, your workplace will have a process, a grievance process, a process of complaint that you can go through. What a lot of people, like my friend that I was speaking to this morning, do at this point is they go off sick because they can't face going in, and then they resign. So I'd like to say to you, please do not work against your own interests. Stay in post until you've had some satisfaction on this issue. Of course, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Then you will have to make your own judgment about whether or not you stay in post. It is absolutely the case that many organisations have an inherently hostile culture. And if that's the case, maybe at some point you're going to choose to jump ship. But the point is to choose and not be pushed. When I suggested to you earlier in this clip that you examined your own behaviour in this situation, it wasn't out of any desire to blame you as the victim of bullying. Au contraire. In fact, what I want you to find is that solid ground where you're sure of your own motives, that you've thought about what you want from this situation, and that you're clear about how you can move forward. The people bullying you, by and large, are going to be people who are employing an age-old human mechanism for control and for exerting power over others. There is a suggestion that bullying behaviour also bolsters the bully's sense of self-esteem, etc. Maybe, but really it's about controlling you. So this attempt on your part to take your power back is quite a crucial step in this particular dance. If you are being bullied in the workplace, I really believe you are capable of taking direct action which will help improve your situation. But that may look different between different organisations, different cultures, different contexts. My suggestion is keep a diary, find someone you trust, find someone within the organisation who can help you, follow a process of mediation, if necessary, follow a formal process of complaint, and if at the end of all that you have had no satisfaction in the situation and you ultimately consider leaving that organisation, see if grounds for constructive dismissal apply to you. Don't just get pushed out of your organisation without making sure that you've covered all the bases that you can to advocate for yourself. It's a horrible feeling. It's a very undermining feeling. I remember it well, and I remember it starting to rear its ugly head in teams that I managed. So I'd also like to say to anybody who's watching this clip who is in a managerial position, we will be posting further clips on how to keep your team safe and healthy and productive. Workplace bullying is everybody's responsibility. They say that one of the most important impacts on reducing it is the bystander effect. Bullying goes on because the people around it, by and large, do nothing to stop it. So each of us, whether or not we've experienced, have a responsibility to look out for the people around us. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been of use to you, and if you would like to see further clips on this or many other topics, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Life the Basic Manual. Thanks for watching.